Hi, and welcome to TXDZNY. On today's show, I'm going to be talking about how to do the Monorail Bar Crawl around the Magic Kingdom area resorts. So a lot of people know about drinking around the world, around Epcot, around the countries in World Showcase. But another fun thing to do if you're trying to do something not inside the parks a day and you're trying to do a little off day and something to do, this is also great on like a rainy day or something like that where you don't want to be going outside, is to do the Monorail Bar Crawl, which is the monorail resorts around Magic Kingdom in the Bay Lake area, which includes the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, Contemporary, and if you want, you can go over to Wilderness Lodge as well. It's not connected on the monorail, but you can get there by boat if you want, and that's something you can add to it if you have enough time that day. So as I said, I think this is a really, really fun activity for adults, obviously, to do. You got to be older than 21 to do. But actually, our kids love going around the different Disney resorts too and just seeing some different decor and something different each trip. But I do feel like it is something different to do, especially if you're someone who frequents going to Walt Disney World, where it's not just going to the same four parks and stuff all the time, where you can mix it up a little bit. And a lot of times you like having those down days. Sometimes it's just a pool day or something like that. But the maybe do on a rainy day or just a relaxed day mid trip is always good to try to throw something different in there, whether it be going to Disney Springs pool day or this monorail bar crawl. I think is really, really fun to do. So I'll start by saying, obviously do this responsibly. There's no exact way to do this, where you want to go. I think it's the easiest to just go to the Ticket and Transportation Center, and you can actually just walk over to the Polynesian from there. If you want to, you can go hop on the short monorail ride to the Polynesian from there if you wanted to. But if you're going to be driving there, I do highly suggest making sure you have a designated driver. We prefer just to have an Uber drop us off there. Ubers won't drop you off in the front of Magic Kingdom. If you didn't know that, they have to drop you off at the Ticket and Transportation Center. So you'd be there already, and like I said, it's a short little walk through the Polynesian if you want to just get there. So that's a good starting spot. Or if you want to park at one of the, or have an Uber take you to one of the resorts, you do have to have a dining reservation or have to be staying there. So they're not just going to drop you off, let's just say at the Contemporary, if you're staying at like Port Orleans, unless you have a dining reservation. So a good place to maybe think about if you don't have a dining reservation somewhere is to have them drop you off at that Ticket and Transportation Center. Then obviously, if you're staying at any of these Magic Kingdom area resorts, you could just hop on the monorail or the boat or something like that, and you can do it that way where you don't have to worry about a starting point. But I'm, in general, just saying starting at the Ticket and Transportation Center. So I'm going to talk about the Polynesian first as a first stop along this monorail bar crawl. But you can start at any one of these three resorts and four if you're going to include Wilderness Lodge. So I am going to be leaving out any table service dining reservations because you do have to have dining reservations for these places. Now, obviously, you can get a dining reservation at any one of these hotels, and you can do that for a nice meal, whether it be for lunch or dinner or breakfast, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to not be including them in this because I want to make this more accessible for people who just wanted to do bounce around the monorail bar crawl with no reservations and just kind of be just hitting up some bars and lounges. So some of these Magic Kingdom area resorts are our favorites. Now, I have had a video that I do rank my top 5 favorite Disney resorts, and a couple of them are on this list. But some of the vibes of these ones are really what have me really liking going there and having drinks. So we'll start with the Polynesian. The Polynesian is one of my favorite resorts. I just love the vibe there, the whole island feel and everything like that. So the first bar I'm going to be talking about is Tambu Lounge. Tambu Lounge is the bar connected over there to Ohana. You do not need reservations to go to Tambu Lounge. You can just walk up and get a drink anytime. You can sit down at the bar. They have some little tables, just a few tables over there in like the waiting area that looks like for Ohana if you want to grab your drink over there. And you do have a beautiful view from up there of Seven Seas Lagoon, and even you can see Cinderella's Castle and some of the backdrop of Magic Kingdom while you're in there. So it's a very cool, just Polynesian vibe bar. They have a full bar that you could even get some food and appetizers and stuff while you're there. So it's a really cool bar to go and get a drink at if you're going to do this monorail bar crawl. It's one of the most accessible ones because it's right there at the top level of the Polynesian, so you don't have to take the stairs or elevator down to the bottom for anything. And it's just really accessible, and it's a cool little vibe there, and you don't need a reservation for it like you would Ohana. So next I'm going to bounce over to the new DVC Polynesian bar called Wailulu's Bar and Lounge. We just went there this last trip in December for Christmas, and we absolutely loved it. So while the monorail will be dropping you off at the regular Polynesian, it is kind of just a short little 5-minute walk over to get to this bar and lounge. You're walking over to where the boats are and all that, and just going towards the Grand Floridian, the wedding pavilion. And you'll run right into the Polynesian new tower. And this bar area is really, really cool. The food here is really good. The drinks are really good. So this is somewhere that's new, that's just been open for a few months. That is a cool little spot that it has the same little vibe there where you're going to be right on the water, still the same island vibes. And it's just a really cool little bar lounge to sit down at if you're trying to do that. We normally, when we're doing this Monorail Bar Crawl, we'll take our time. We'll even have a drink or two at each one of these resorts. So there, you can go to multiple places at each resort. You don't have to be locked into just going to one place, have a drink, go, unless you're in a hurry. So we do like popping around and maybe having a couple drinks at each one of these resorts. So next I'm going to be talking about Trader Sam's. So this is going to be back at the regular Polynesian Great Ceremonial House is what they call their lobby there. And the Trader Sam's Grotto is a really, really cool place. It's a small and a hard place to get into, but they do have a terrace outside, which is really, really nice. And so you can use that as a place to go grab your drinks at. Trader Sam's and its terrace, though, do not open until 3. So you got to keep that in mind. So if you're going to get an early start on doing this Monorail Bar Crawl, some of these places aren't going to be open until 3. That are a little bit, harder to get places to get into. I do highly suggest for adults to go into that Trader Sam's Grotto at least once. And if you go in during a downtime during the week, it could be a little bit easier to get into. But if you can't get in there, you can still get pretty much all their drinks in the terrace area. So keep that in mind, and it will be outside. So if it is a nice day, the terrace could be nice as well. But the vibe inside the regular Trader Sam's is just really, really cool and very unique. So I think everyone should experience it at least once. So those are the 3 bars and lounges that are really, really cool at the Polynesian that are accessible. Like I said, there are other table service type places you can go to, like Kona Cafe, Ohana, and stuff like that. But you do need reservations for those. So like I said, I'm going to be leaving these off the list, those places. But those are options for you if you wanted to actually sit down and do something a little more formal. So the next stop is the Grand Floridian. So that's the next stop when you're going from the Polynesian. It'll stop off at the Grand Floridian. You actually could just walk over there if you wanted to. It's not that long of a walk, but obviously if it's a monorail bar crawl, you might want to be taking the monorail. Just something cool to do. And you're not in a hurry, so waiting for it and just kind of hanging out, it's no big deal. But we've done both where we hop on the monorail and we walk over to the Polynesian Grand Floridian are not that far from each other. So they're accessible in walking distance or short monorail rides. So actually the Grand Floridian is one of our favorite resorts. Very, very elegant. It's where we got married and had our reception. So it always holds a special place for us. And they do have some of our favorite dining options. Oddly, they don't have a ton of bars actually at the Grand Floridian. It's a lot of really nice sit-down table service meals. So they don't have any lounges for you really just to sit down and chill at these places, but they do still have a couple really cool places to sit down and have some drinks. So the first place I'm going to be talking about is the Enchanted Rose. The Enchanted Rose is on the 2nd level in the lobby at the Grand Floridian. And this is one of our favorite bars and lounges. It's going to be themed to Beauty and the Beast and the live action version of it. It's going to have some very, very good drinks. The vibe in there is really cool and elegant. And it's just got those little hidden little touches of Beauty and the Beast decor around there and everything like that. Same thing with their menu, and the food's really good there. Of all these bars and lounges I'm going to be talking about on this list, I do think the Enchanted Rose is one of my favorites for food and just the vibe in there if you're wanting to be inside. I do like some being on a patio, but a lot of times we decide to do these monorail bar crawls is actually when it's raining or just not a nice day out. So it is nice to be indoors on something like this, but the Enchanted Rose is a favorite of ours. So the next 2 places I'm going to be talking about are the pool bars at the Grand Floridian, being the beach pool bar and the courtyard pool bar. Both these bars are accessible for regular guests. You don't have to be staying there. Disney does not doesn't want people who aren't staying at the resort to be going into the pool. But they do welcome people going to the bar areas and ordering food and drinks and stuff like that. So while you can get in here and get food and drink, They don't want you swimming in there. Actually, some of the places don't even let you in to the pool area. A couple that big time come to mind are the Yacht and Beach Club's pool area. You do have to show that you're staying there. The Polynesian also is pretty strict about it. The other ones aren't as strict, but they do frown upon trying to sneak into their pool areas. But you can go to the bar and order drinks. A lot of them have little areas where you can, they cut out and you can get access to the pool bar, even though you're not staying there. So the beach's pool bar is right there kind of along the Seven Seas Lagoon, and it is accessible when you're just walking by. This is my favorite bar that's outside over there. It's by the pool that's known as like the main pool over there for the Grand Floridian. We absolutely love this area when we're just walking around, you know, Seven Seas Lagoon and doing this bar crawl. This is a place that we normally stop and just chill out for a little bit. The kids relax. It's got the beach area over there, and it's just a cool little vibe, and you see the monorails coming by. You do have a little view of Magic Kingdom, and you're right there on Seven Seas Lagoon. So we love this beach's pool bar, and the food is actually pretty good there. The courtyard pool bar, on the other hand, is more like in the middle of the resort. It's going more towards like Narcoossee's and getting a little bit closer to Magic Kingdom. And so here you won't have the same good view as you do when you're at the beaches pool bar, but it's still going to have good drinks, and it's going to be a nice little place to still have some, to have a drink and grab a bite to eat if you want to, but it's a little bit more chill over there than it is in the main pool. So as I said, the Grand Floridian doesn't have a ton of bars here. So those are the three main bars that we stop at when we're doing this Monorail Bar Crawl. They obviously have a lot more dining areas, such as like 1900 Park Fair, Narcoossee's, Gasparilla Island, Citrico's, and, you know, they just have a lot of table service type places at the Grand Floridian. So you can do one of those if you want, but they don't have really accessible bars just for people just popping in and grabbing a drink and chilling for a little bit. So next I'm going to tell you a little bit of how some of this goes is that when you're hopping on the monorail from the Grand Floridian, you could walk all the way to Magic Kingdom. That's a little bit of a longer walk, so we normally opt to hop on the monorail. It will stop back off at the Magic Kingdom. Now, when you are staying and doing this monorail crawl, the only really way to get to Wilderness Lodge is taking the boat over there. It's the most accessible way. You can only really take this boat from Magic Kingdom is where it's the most accessible, and the boats will run more. So if you are wanting to go to Wilderness Lodge for this, this is your best time to go ahead and do it, is when you're going from the, if you're going from Polynesian to Grand Floridian, then to Magic Kingdom, get off and then hop on the boat going over to Wilderness Lodge. And then when you're done, that boat will take you back to Magic Kingdom, and then you can continue on to the Contemporary. So that's how we normally do it, but I'm going to continue going around the monorail, and I'll touch back on Wilderness Lodge, because if you're just doing the monorail crawl, that doesn't include Wilderness Lodge. So I'm just going to stay with the three resorts on the monorail. So third on this list is going to be the Contemporary Resort. I will be very honest about this. The Contemporary Resort is my least favorite resort of these four on Bay Lake and around Magic Kingdom. I don't dislike the resort. It's just out of the four, it's my least favorite. If I were to be spending deluxe money, I'd rather stay at the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, or Wilderness Lodge, quite frankly. But it doesn't mean that we don't like going into this bar. And if you're doing the monorail crawl and going to the resort, then you're going to go ahead and do it. And the kids actually like some of it, and it's really cool seeing the monorail coming through the middle of the resort, and just some of the decor and stuff around there. The Contemporary does have some really, really good bars and lounges, though, and to go to. The first being, which I think is a very underrated place, is Steakhouse 71. This does have a bar, like right when you walk in, that you can always sit and have a drink at. This is Steakhouse 71's open for breakfast and everything like that, so you can get drinks here pretty much all day, and it's a cool little place. I think it's underrated for its food as well. It is a sit-down place if you want to go, but it does have that bar area. Now, it is indoor, and your views are very, it's just like you're at any restaurant, but the decor there is very like old school, almost Disneyland-like, when you're in there with some of the homage to Walt Disney himself, and just the early startings of building parks and stuff like that. But in general, Steakhouse 71 is just a regular bar at any like restaurant. It just happens to have some Disney decor around it. But it is a cool place to grab a bite to eat as well, and just kind of chill if you're doing this Monorail Bar Crawl. So next on this list is going to be Cove Bar. So this is going to be the bar by the pool area at the Contemporary. The food here is very underrated. You are getting that back view of Bay Lake when you're over there, so you're not going to have this great view of Magic Kingdom itself, but you are going to have a good little water view, and it does have, a good little vibe over there. And I don't like this pool as much as I like some of the other resort pools, but the Cove Bar has really good food and drinks here. So this is a good place if it's nice out to go sit down and have a drink if you're doing this Monorail Bar Crawl. And last, I'm going to be talking about Outer Rim. Now, this is more of a traditional bar there. You do have an incredible view at this place. They don't open until 2 p.m., so same thing as some of the other places I've mentioned. If you're going to get an early start to this day, Outer Rim won't be open until 2 p.m. But this is more of your traditional bar, but it does have really good views here. There's a lot of good views from the Contemporary, but a lot of things you need to be a DVC member for, or you need to have a table service reservation. California Grill is one of our favorite restaurants, but you need to have a reservation to go up there. Sometimes they'll let you just go up to the bar and grab a drink if there's open seating and stuff like that. But then there's also the Top of the World Lounge, but you have to be a DVC member to do that. But the Outer Rim, you don't have to be a DVC member for or have dining reservations for, and you still have a beautiful view. And there's more your traditional bar with a great view of just like overlooking Seven Seas Lagoon and of Magic Kingdom. So from there, the monorail will take you back to the Ticket and Transportation Center. So that would be you completing the 3 resorts there, if that's what you want to do, that are along the monorail. I am going to circle back and touch on Wilderness Lodge. So as I said, I think the easiest way to access Wilderness Lodge is via boat. So I am going to include this in this Monorail Bar Crawl. I get if you don't have a long day that you want to be going around doing this bar crawl, that maybe you just want to stick to the 3 resorts. But we love the Wilderness Lodge and the vibe there. So we try to make sure we can get over there for this bar crawl and just kind of spend maybe an hour or 2 there. So being that Wilderness Lodge is kind of tucked back all the way in the back of Bay Lake, it is kind of where you feel like you're not even at Disney World when you're back there. It does feel like you're camping, and that's what they're going for, and they really nailed it with the decor and just the vibe of this whole place. So it is a cool little escape from the hustle and bustle of Walt Disney World and when you're there. This has one of our favorite places to go and just kind of relax on Magic Kingdom days and stuff like that, if we're even just going to Magic Kingdom. But when we're doing this bar crawl, we for sure do it. And that's Geyser Point. Geyser Point is this little bar lounge out on Bay Lake with a great view of just the water. You can't really see Magic Kingdom from there. When they're running fireworks, you can see the fireworks popping up there, but you can't see any of Magic Kingdom when you're out there. But they have really good food and really good drinks there. And the bar area is really big, so you can almost always go up there and get a drink right away. You can just walk around the resort if you want. We like sitting there because we like their food. But Geyser Point is one of our favorite bars and lounges of any of the Walt Disney World's resorts. And I think it's a can't miss if you're going to be doing this bar crawl. Next is going to be Territory Lounge. And like some of the other places, this bar doesn't open until 4 p.m. So you're going to have to wait if you're going to want to do this one. This one is inside, so it's going to be a little bit better if it's the weather's not so nice or it's hot or something like that. But it is a beautiful bar inside the lobby at Wilderness Lodge. Wilderness Lodge does have a couple sit-down places that are nice, but they don't have the bar areas. And so that's something to think about as well. But Geyser Point is always a good go-to when you're doing this. So those are the 4 resorts that when we do this Monorail Bar Crawl. 3 if you're just staying with the monorail and not including Wilderness Lodge. So as I said, do this responsibly. Don't drink and drive. If you're staying on property, take a bus, do whatever, take Ubers and stuff like that. Just do it responsibly or have a designated driver. So a good money savings tip if you wanted to do this when you're going and doing this bar crawl is that all 4 of these resorts are DVC resorts, which means that they do have a decent sized grab and go area for beer, wine, liquor, and stuff like that. So if you didn't want to sit down and spend the money at some of these bars and lounges, you could get like a bottle of white wine and ask for a couple cups and just walk around with your bottle of wine when you're there. So that's it for this video. It's just something different to do this Monorail Bar Crawl than just going to the parks every single day, especially if you're someone who frequents the parks or if you're having a bad weather day or something like that. So think about doing something like this if it's something you're interested in and you enjoy, just relaxing and having a few drinks on your Walt Disney World trip. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye.